I married a millionaire who didn't love me, and I knew it the moment he slipped that ring on my finger without looking at my face. But here's the twisted part. I didn't realize how much he wanted me until his three best friends started trying to take me away. My name is Elliot Carter, and 6 months ago, I became Mrs. Elliot Ashford. Well, technically, Mr. Ashford. But you get the point. I'm an Omega, 24 years old, art student turned trophy husband. I guess that's what they call it when you marry someone for convenience and not love. My life wasn't supposed to turn out like this. I had dreams once. Small ones, sure. A quiet art studio in Portland. Maybe a gallery show someday. A partner who'd actually hold my hand in public and mean it. Instead, I got Alexander Ashford, millionaire, alpha, CEO of Ashford Enterprises, one of the biggest real estate empires on the West Coast. Cold as winter mornings in Seattle. Sharp-jawed, dark-haired, and so devastatingly handsome it almost made up for the fact that he could barely stand to be in the same room as me. Almost. We got married because his family needed him to settle down. Image, reputation, legacy, all that alpha elite garbage. And I needed to pay off my brother's medical bills before the debt collectors came knocking. So we made a deal. Marriage, on paper, nothing real. He'd get his family off his back. I'd get a check that could save my brother's life. It was supposed to be simple. It wasn't. The thing about living with someone who doesn't love you is that you start to notice every single way they avoid you. Alexander left for work before I woke up. He came home after I went to bed. On the rare occasions we were in the same room, during family dinners or charity galas, he'd stand just far enough away that no one would think we were actually together. He never touched me, not once, not even by accident. And I told myself I didn't care. I told myself this was exactly what I signed up for, a business arrangement, nothing more. But Omegas aren't built that way. We're wired for connection, for touch, for belonging. And every day in that cold, silent penthouse felt like drowning. Until 3 months ago. That's when I met them. Alexander's best friends. I'd heard about them, of course. The infamous trio, alphas all of them. Successful, dangerous, loyal to a fault. Caleb Monroe, a defense attorney with a sharp tongue and sharper instincts. Dark skin, amber eyes that saw through every lie you ever told. He had this way of leaning in when he talked to you, like you were the only person in the world. Theo Zhang, a surgeon, quiet, controlled. Black hair always perfectly styled, hands steady enough to hold a beating heart. He rarely smiled, but when he did, it felt like winning something. Dmitri Volkov, a venture capitalist with a Russian accent that made everything sound like a threat or a promise. Blonde, blue-eyed, built like he could break you in half and then buy you dinner after. They came over one night for poker. Alexander didn't warn me. I was in the kitchen, barefoot, wearing one of Alexander's old college hoodies because it was the only thing in that house that felt remotely warm. I heard voices, laughter. I froze. "Alex, you didn't tell us you were hiding someone back here." Caleb's voice rang out, smooth and teasing. I turned. All three of them stood in the doorway, staring at me like I was something rare, something unexpected. And Alexander looked furious. "This is Elliot," he said flatly. "My husband." The silence that followed was suffocating. Theo's eyes flickered with something I couldn't name. Dimitri's mouth curved into a slow, dangerous smile. And Caleb? Caleb looked at me like he'd just found the answer to a question he didn't know he'd been asking. "Your husband," Caleb repeated slowly, his gaze never leaving mine. "Funny, you never mentioned him." Alexander's jaw tightened. "It's not relevant." Not relevant. Those two words shouldn't have hurt as much as they did. But they did. I could feel their eyes on me, all three of them. Not like Alexander's. Not distant or cold. These were different. Caleb tilted his head, studying me like I was a puzzle he wanted to solve. Theo's gaze was quieter, deeper, like he was cataloging every detail. The way I shifted my weight, the way I tugged at the sleeves of the hoodie. And Dmitri? Dmitri looked at me like I was already his. "You're an Omega," Theo said quietly. Not a question, a statement. I nodded. "And you're married to Alex." Caleb's tone was almost amused now. "Interesting." "Not really." Alexander cut in sharply. He crossed the room, positioning himself between me and them like a wall. He's my husband. That's all you need to know. But the way he said it, quick, defensive, possessive, made all three of them exchange glances. Something shifted in the air. Something dangerous. Dmitri leaned against the doorframe, arms crossed, eyes locked on me. Does he always dress like this around the house? My cheeks burned. He can wear whatever he wants, Alexander snapped. Relax, Alex. Caleb's smile widened. We're just saying, you're a lucky man. Alexander didn't respond, but his hand curled into a fist at his side. And for the first time since we got married, I saw something flicker in his eyes. Something raw, something almost like jealousy. They stayed for hours. Poker turned into whiskey. Whiskey turned into conversation. And I should have gone upstairs, should have disappeared like I always did. But I didn't, because for the first time in months, someone was actually talking to me. So, Elliot, Caleb said, dealing another hand, what do you do? I paint, I said quietly. He's an artist, Theo added, glancing at Alexander. You didn't mention that either. Alexander's expression was unreadable. It never came up. Never came up, Dmitri repeated, swirling his glass. You've been married for 6 months and it never came up. The tension was thick enough to choke on. What do you paint? Theo asked, ignoring Alexander entirely now. His eyes were on me, soft, curious, genuine. Landscapes mostly, I said. Sometimes people. Would you paint me? Dmitri asked, grinning. I laughed before I could stop myself. Maybe. Maybe, he echoed, eyes gleaming. I'll take that as a yes. Alexander stood abruptly. It's late. It's 10, Caleb said, not moving. We have an early meeting tomorrow. You have an early meeting, Theo corrected. We're off the clock. Alexander's gaze hardened. I think it's time you left. Dmitri set his glass down slowly, deliberately. You know, Alex, you never told us why you got married. The room went silent. That's none of your business, Alexander said coldly. Maybe not, Caleb said, standing. He looked at me, really looked at me. But I think we'd all like to get to know Elliot better. That's not happening. Why not? Theo asked quietly. He's your husband, not your prisoner. The words hung in the air like a blade. Alexander's jaw clenched. Get out! They did, but not before Caleb leaned in close as he passed me, his voice low enough that only I could hear. If you ever need anything, Elliot, call me. He slipped a card into my hand, and then they were gone. The door clicked shut. Alexander stood there, back to me, shoulders rigid. Don't, he said quietly. Don't what? Don't talk to them. Don't smile at them. Don't, he turned. And for the first time, I saw something break in his expression. Just don't. Why? I whispered. He didn't answer. He just walked away. And I stood there holding Caleb's card, my heart pounding for reasons I didn't understand. Because something had changed tonight. Something dangerous. Something I couldn't take back. I stared at the card in my hand. Black, expensive, embossed gold lettering. Caleb Monroe, attorney at law. My fingers trembled. Elliot! Alexander's voice cut through the silence like glass. I looked up. He was standing at the bottom of the staircase now, one hand gripping the railing so hard his knuckles had gone white. Throw it away. It wasn't a request. My heart hammered against my ribs. Why? Because I said so. Something hot and reckless flared in my chest. That's not an answer. His eyes darkened. You don't need them. I don't need anyone, apparently, I shot back before I could stop myself. Isn't that the whole point of this arrangement? The words tasted bitter. True. Alexander flinched. Just barely. Just enough that I almost missed it. But I didn't. Elliot! Forget it! I turned away, shoving the card into my pocket. I'm going to bed. Wait. I stopped. Didn't turn around. Couldn't. Because if I looked at him right now, if I saw that cold, unreadable expression, I'd break. They're not good for you, he said quietly. I laughed. It came out sharp, hollow. And you are? Silence. Heavy. Suffocating. I waited. He didn't answer. Of course he didn't. I climbed the stairs alone. I couldn't sleep. The penthouse was too quiet, too big, too empty. I lay in bed, my bed, not his, because we'd never shared one, and stared at the ceiling, replaying the entire night in my head. The way Caleb had looked at me, the way Theo's voice had softened when he asked about my paintings, the way Dmitri had smiled like he knew a secret I didn't, and Alexander. Alexander, who'd stood between us like a gate, like a wall, like I was something that needed guarding. But from what? From them or from myself? I rolled over, pressing my face into the pillow. It smelled like expensive detergent. Like nothing. Not like cedar and rain, the way Alexander's scent always was. Not that I was supposed to notice. Not that it mattered, except it did. It always did. Morning came too fast. I dragged myself out of bed, pulled on jeans and a sweater, and padded downstairs. The kitchen was empty. Alexander was already gone, like always. I made coffee, burned toast, sat at the massive marble island and felt the weight of the silence press down on me. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. I frowned, swiping it open. Unknown. Good morning, Elliot. Sleep well? My stomach dropped. Me. Who is this? Unknown. Caleb. You didn't think I'd just hand you my card and disappear, did you? I should have blocked him. I should have deleted the message. I didn't. Me. How did you get my number? Caleb. I'm a lawyer. I get everything. Caleb. Besides, I figured you might need a friend. My chest tightened. Me. I don't need anything. Caleb. Everyone needs something, Elliot. Even you. Caleb. Especially you. I stared at the screen. My hands were shaking. Me. Alexander told me not to talk to you. Caleb. And do you always do what Alexander tells you? No. Yes, I didn't know anymore. Me. Why are you texting me? Caleb. Because I don't think you're happy. The words hit like a punch. Caleb. And I don't think he deserves you. I locked my phone, set it down, pressed my palms flat against the cold marble, and tried to breathe. The front door opened. I froze. Alexander never came home during the day. Never. But there he was, standing in the doorway, suit jacket slung over one arm, tie loosened, hair slightly mussed like he'd been running his hands through it. He looked rattled. Elliot, I straightened. What are you doing here? I forgot something. What? He didn't answer, just crossed the room in 3 long strides and stopped in front of me. Too close. Close enough that I could smell him. Cedar, rain, something darker underneath. Close enough that I had to tilt my head back to meet his eyes. Did they contact you? He asked, voice low. My breath caught. What? Caleb, Theo, Dmitri. His gaze burned into mine. Did they text you? Call you? I should have lied. I didn't. Caleb texted. Something dangerous flickered across his face. What did he say? Nothing, just checking in. Checking in. He laughed, short, bitter. Right. Alexander, block him. Excuse me? Block his number, all of them. His jaw tightened. Now. Heat flooded my veins. You don't get to tell me what to do. I'm your husband. On paper. The words exploded out of me before I could stop them. You're my husband on paper, Alexander. That's it. You don't talk to me. You don't touch me. You act like I don't even exist unless someone's watching. So don't stand here and pretend you suddenly care who I talk to. His eyes flashed. For one heartbeat, I thought he'd walk away. He didn't. Instead, he grabbed my wrist. Not hard, not rough, but firm enough that I gasped. I care, he said, voice ragged. I stared at him. I've always cared. My heart slammed against my ribs. Then why? Because if I let myself get close to you, he stopped, swallowed hard. If I let myself want you the way I do, I won't be able to stop. The air left my lungs. And they know that, he continued, voice dropping. They saw it the second they walked in. They saw how I look at you. And now they want to see if they can take you away from me. I'm not a prize, I whispered. I know. His thumb brushed over my pulse, light, devastatingly gentle. But they don't. His phone buzzed. He pulled back, releasing my wrist like it burned him. Glanced at the screen. His expression went cold. "What?" I asked. He didn't answer, just turned the phone toward me. It was a text from Dmitri. "Dmitri, dinner tonight. All four of us. Tell Elliot to wear something nice." My stomach twisted. "Don't go," Alexander said quietly. "Are you going?" His silence was answer enough. "Then so am I." "Elliot, you don't own me, Alexander." I stepped back. "And if you're so worried about them taking me away," I met his eyes, "maybe you should have tried keeping me first." The words hung between us like smoke. Alexander's face went blank, that mask he wore so well sliding back into place. But his eyes were wild. "You don't know what you're saying," he said quietly. "Don't I?" My voice was steadier than I felt. "You married me, Alexander. You put this ring on my finger, but you never once made me feel like I mattered." His jaw clenched. "That's not—" "And now," I continued, something reckless burning in my chest. "Now they look at me like I'm worth something, and suddenly you care? It's not like that. Then what is it like?" I stepped closer and I watched his breath hitch. "Tell me, make me understand." For a moment, one desperate, aching moment, I thought he would. I thought he'd finally say the words I'd been waiting months to hear. But he didn't. He just turned away. "Wear whatever you want," he said flatly. "I'll pick you up at 7. Then he walked out. Again, always walking away. I stood there trembling, hating how much it hurt, hating how much I still wanted him to come back. I didn't want to go. Every instinct I had screamed at me to stay home, to avoid whatever game was being played. But I went anyway, because I was tired of being invisible. Tired of waiting for scraps of attention from a man who couldn't even look at me. I pulled out the one nice outfit I owned, a soft black sweater that clung just enough, dark jeans that actually fit, boots that made me feel less small. I looked at myself in the mirror. Really looked. Pale skin, messy brown hair that never quite cooperated, eyes too big for my face, always a little sad, nothing special, nothing worth fighting over. But when I came downstairs at 7, Alexander was waiting, and the way he looked at me, it stole the air from my lungs. His gaze dragged over me slowly, hungrily, like he was memorizing every detail, like he was already regretting letting me leave the house. "Ready?" he asked, voice rough. I nodded. Didn't trust myself to speak, because if I did, I'd ask him why he was looking at me like that. Why he'd never looked at me like that before. The restaurant was the kind of place I'd only seen in magazines. Dim lighting, velvet booths, waiters in pressed black uniforms who moved like ghosts. Caleb, Theo, and Dmitri were already seated when we arrived. They stood as we approached, all three of them, like I was someone important. "Elliot," Caleb's smile was warm, disarming. "You look incredible." "Doesn't he?" Dmitri added, eyes gleaming. "Alex, you've been hiding a masterpiece." Alexander's hand found the small of my back, possessive, burning through the fabric of my sweater. "He's not on display," Alexander said coldly. "Could have fooled me," Theo murmured, pulling out a chair. "Elliot, sit here, next to me." I hesitated. Alexander's fingers tightened against my spine. "He'll sit next to me," Alexander said. "Will he?" Caleb tilted his head, looking at me. "Elliot, where would you like to sit?" Every eye was on me, waiting, testing. I pulled away from Alexander's touch, felt him tense, and slid into the seat next to Theo. "Here's fine," I said quietly. The silence that followed was deafening. Dmitri laughed. "This is going to be fun." Alexander sat across from me, expression unreadable. But his hands were clenched into fists on the table. Dinner was a war zone. Every question felt like a move in a game I didn't understand. "So, Elliot," Caleb said, swirling his wine, "how did you and Alex meet?" I glanced at Alexander. He said nothing. "Through family," I said carefully. "Family," Dmitri repeated. "How romantic." "It was practical," Alexander cut in. "That's all." Theo's eyes flickered to me. "And you agreed to marry him? Just like that?" "I had my reasons." "What reasons?" Theo pressed, and his voice was gentle. Too gentle. Like he actually cared about the answer. Does it matter? Alexander said sharply. I think it does, Caleb said, because from where I'm sitting, it looks like you married someone you don't even know. You don't know anything about us. I know you've never touched him in public, Dmitri said, leaning forward. I know you don't wear your ring unless you have to. I know he flinches every time you ignore him. My breath caught. Alexander's gaze snapped to me. You don't flinch. Don't I? The words came out softer than I meant. Sadder. His face cracked, just for a second. Elliot, tell us, Caleb interrupted smoothly. If you could choose again, knowing what you know now, would you still marry him? The question was a blade. I looked at Alexander, at the man I'd married, the man who couldn't love me, the man who was sitting across from me now, looking at me like I was the only thing in the room that mattered. Too late. Always too late. I don't know, I whispered. Alexander's jaw tightened. But I do know, I continued, meeting Caleb's eyes, that I'm tired of being treated like I don't exist. You exist to us, Theo said quietly. Dmitri smiled. Very much so. Alexander stood abruptly. We're leaving. We just got here, I said. Now, Elliot. No. The word came out stronger than I expected. Alexander stared at me like I'd slapped him. I'm staying, I said. You can go if you want. You're what? I stood too, hands trembling. Your husband? Your responsibility? Your prisoner? That's not fair. None of this is fair. My voice cracked. You married me, Alexander. You made vows. And then you spent 6 months pretending I didn't exist. So don't stand there and act like you have any right to tell me what to do. His eyes were blazing now. They don't care about you. They're doing this to get to me. Maybe, I said, but at least they see me. The words landed like a gunshot. Alexander went pale. Caleb cleared his throat. Alexander, why don't you sit down? Let's all just stay away from him, Alexander said, voice shaking. All of you. I'm warning you. Or what? Dmitri challenged. Alexander didn't answer, just grabbed his coat, looked at me one last time, something broken and desperate in his eyes. And then he left. The door closed behind him. I stood there, heart racing, hands shaking. Elliot, Theo's voice was soft. Sit down, please. I did. Because my legs wouldn't hold me anymore. Caleb poured me a glass of water. You okay? I laughed, bitter, hollow. No. Good, Dmitri said. You shouldn't be. I looked up at him. What? He doesn't deserve you if he makes you feel like this. Dmitri leaned back, eyes sharp. But we would never do that to you? You don't even know me. Not yet, Caleb said, but we'd like to. Theo's hand found mine under the table, warm, steady. You don't have to go back to him tonight, Theo said quietly. You could stay with one of us. Just to think, just to breathe. I should have said no, should have gone home. But when I opened my mouth, what came out was, okay. The word hung in the air. Okay. What had I just agreed to? Theo's hand was still holding mine, warm, steady, grounding me when everything else felt like it was spinning out of control. Caleb leaned forward, eyes searching my face. You're sure? I wasn't. I wasn't sure of anything anymore, but I nodded anyway. My place is closest, Theo said quietly, his thumb brushing over my knuckles. You'll have your own room, your own space, no pressure. Like hell, Dmitri cut in, grinning. My penthouse has better wine and a view that'll make you forget all about Alexander Ashford. This isn't a competition, Caleb said dryly. Everything's a competition. Dmitri's eyes found mine, and something in them made my breath catch. But it's Elliot's choice. So beautiful. Where do you want to go? Beautiful. No one had ever called me that. Not even Alexander. Especially not Alexander. My voice cracked. I pulled my hand back from Theo's, suddenly overwhelmed. I don't know. This is insane. I can't just breathe, Theo said softly. You don't have to decide anything right now. But I did. Because if I went home, back to that cold, empty penthouse, I'd break. I'd spend the whole night replaying the look on Alexander's face when I told him they saw me, when I chose to stay. Theo, I whispered. I'll go with Theo. Theo's car was sleek and quiet, not showy like I expected, just calm, like him. He didn't try to fill the silence as we drove through Seattle's rain-slick streets. Didn't ask if I was okay or tell me I'd made the right choice. He just drove, and somehow that made it easier to breathe. Thank you, I said finally. He glanced at me. For what? For not making this weird. A small smile tugged at his lips. The night's still young. I laughed, short, startled. He pulled into an underground garage, parked, and killed the engine. Then he turned to face me fully. Elliot, he said, and my name in his voice sounded different, careful, important. I need you to understand something before we go upstairs. My heart kicked against my ribs. What? I'm not doing this to hurt Alexander. His dark eyes held mine. I'm doing this because I saw the way you looked tonight, like you were disappearing, and he stopped, swallowed. I can't watch that happen to someone and do nothing. Tears burned behind my eyes. You don't even know me. I know enough. You know nothing, I whispered. You don't know why I married him. You don't know what Then tell me. The invitation was so simple, so genuine. I looked away. My brother needed surgery, experimental, expensive. I didn't have the money. Alexander's family did. So we made a deal. Theo was quiet for a long moment. He paid for your brother's life, he said slowly, and in return, you gave him yours. I flinched, because that's exactly what I'd done. Does Alexander know? Theo asked. How much it cost you? He doesn't care. I think he does. Theo's voice was soft. I think he cares so much it terrifies him. Then why? Because fear makes people cruel. He reached over, fingertips brushing my jaw, so light I almost thought I imagined it. But you deserve more than someone who's too afraid to love you. My breath hitched. Come on, he said, pulling back. Let's get you inside. Theo's place wasn't what I expected. It was warm, lived in, books stacked on shelves, a kitchen that actually looked used, soft lighting that didn't feel cold or clinical. It felt like a home. Guest rooms down the hall, he said, shrugging off his jacket. Bathrooms attached. There's clothes in the dresser if you need them. They'll be big but comfortable. I stood there clutching my phone, feeling lost. Elliot, I looked up. He was watching me with those steady, unreadable eyes. You're safe here, he said. I promise. Something in my chest cracked. I don't know what I'm doing, I admitted, voice barely above a whisper. That's okay. He moved closer, not touching, just close enough that I could feel his warmth. You don't have to know. You just have to breathe. I don't think I remember how. Then let me remind you. He lifted his hand, slow, deliberate, and pressed his palm flat against my chest, right over my heart. It was racing. Feel that? He murmured. I nodded. That's you. Still here. Still fighting. His eyes searched mine. Don't let him take that away from you. I couldn't look away, couldn't move, couldn't breathe. Theo, my phone buzzed. We both froze. I pulled it out with shaking hands. Alexander. Where are you? Alexander. Elliot, answer me. Alexander. Please, that last word shattered something in me. Because Alexander never said please. He's looking for you, Theo said quietly. I know. Are you going to answer? I stared at the screen, at the man who married me but never loved me, at the desperation bleeding through 3 simple texts. No, I said, and I turned my phone off. Theo made tea. I sat on his couch, drowning in one of his sweatshirts, feeling like I was watching my life from the outside. You don't have to talk, he said, setting a mug in front of me. But if you want to, I'm here. I wrapped my hands around the warmth. Why are you being so kind to me? Why wouldn't I be? Because I'm someone else's husband. Are you? He sat beside me, not too close, but close enough. Because from where I'm sitting, you're just someone who's been alone for a very long time. The words hit too close. I thought I could do it, I whispered. I thought I could live in a loveless marriage. Take the money, save my brother, survive. But I didn't realize how much it would hurt. My voice broke. I didn't realize I'd still hope. Every morning, Every time he walked through the door, I'd hope he'd look at me, really look at me, and see something worth staying for. Theo's jaw tightened. Elliot, and tonight, I continued, when he finally did look at me like that, it wasn't because he loved me. It was because he was scared of losing me to you. Maybe it's both. I looked at him. What? Maybe he's always seen you, Theo said carefully, but he's been too terrified to do anything about it. And now that we're here, now that you have other options, he's realizing what he's about to lose. That's not love. No, Theo agreed. It's not. But it might be the beginning of it. Tears slipped down my cheeks. I didn't try to stop them. Theo set his mug down, shifted closer. Can I? He hesitated. Can I hold you? I should have said no, should have kept the distance, but I was so tired of being alone. Yes, I breathed. He pulled me against him, careful, gentle, like I was something precious. And I broke, sobbed into his chest while he held me together, one hand stroking my hair, the other wrapped around my waist. I've got you, he murmured. You're okay. I've got you. And for the first time in months, I believed it. We stayed like that for minutes, hours. I didn't know anymore, until someone pounded on the door. Hard, desperate. Theo tensed. Stay here. Theo! But he was already moving. He looked through the peephole, swore under his breath. It's Alexander. My heart stopped. Don't open it, I whispered. The pounding came again. Theo, I know he's in there. Alexander's voice came through, raw, wrecked. Let me see him, please. Theo looked back at me. What do you want me to do? I stood, wiped my eyes, walked to the door, and opened it myself. Alexander stood there, hair a mess, eyes wild, chest heaving like he'd run the whole way. He looked at me, at Theo's sweatshirt drowning my frame, at my tear-stained face. Elliot, he breathed. And then he saw Theo standing behind me, saw the way Theo's presence felt protective, possessive. Something feral crossed Alexander's face. Get away from him, Alexander said, voice shaking. He came here by choice, Theo said calmly. I don't care. Maybe you should have, I said quietly. Alexander's eyes snapped to mine. Maybe you should have cared 6 months ago. His face crumpled. Elliot, please. Go home, Alexander. Not without you. You don't get to decide that anymore. The words landed like bullets. He staggered back, and I closed the door. The lock clicked. The sound felt final. I stood there, hand still on the doorknob, heart hammering so hard I thought it might break through my ribs. Behind the door, I heard Alexander, breathing, just breathing. Elliot, his voice was muffled, broken. Please. My hand trembled. Don't, Theo said softly behind me. Don't open it again. But I couldn't move, couldn't breathe, because I could feel Alexander on the other side, feel his desperation soaking through the wood like blood. I'm sorry, Alexander whispered. God, Elliot, I'm so sorry. I closed my eyes. I know I don't deserve another chance. I know His voice cracked. I know I broke you, but please, please just look at me. He's looking at someone else now, Theo said, and there was an edge to his voice I hadn't heard before. Someone who actually sees him. Silence. Then, is that what you want? Alexander's voice went cold, dangerous. Him? You want him instead of me? This isn't about wanting, I said, finally finding my voice. This is about surviving, and I can't survive you anymore, Alexander. You're my husband. I'm your mistake, I shot back. Your obligation, you're everything. The words exploded out of him. You're everything, Elliot, and I've been too much of a coward to admit it. My breath caught. Theo's hand found my shoulder. He's had 6 months to tell you that. He's only saying it now because he's losing. That's not true, Alexander said desperately. That's not... Elliot, I've wanted you since the day we met. Since before we got married. I didn't know how to... How to what? My voice was shaking now. How to look at me. How to talk to me. How to make me feel like I was worth something. How to not destroy you. The confession hung in the air. Raw. honest, devastating. What? I whispered. You don't understand what you do to me, Alexander said, and I could hear him sliding down the door, sitting, breaking. Every time I look at you, I want to touch you, hold you, keep you. But I'm not good at this. At feeling, at being soft. And you're all softness, Elliot. You're everything gentle and good, and you're what? I'm my father's son. The words were so quiet I almost missed them. Theo's hand tightened on my shoulder. What does that mean? I asked. Alexander laughed, bitter, hollow. It means I watched him destroy my mother. Slowly, year after year. He loved her, Elliot. He loved her so much it turned into obsession. Control. He couldn't stand the thought of her looking at anyone else, of her having anything that wasn't him. My chest tightened. By the time she died, she was a ghost, Alexander continued. Just a shell of who she used to be. And I swore I'd never do that to anyone. So you did the opposite, Theo said quietly. You gave him nothing. I thought it was safer, Alexander whispered. I thought if I kept my distance, I couldn't hurt him. But I hurt you anyway, didn't I? Tears burned my eyes. Every day, I admitted. Every single day. I know, his voice broke, and I hate myself for it. I pressed my forehead against the door. So close to him, so impossibly far. But losing you to them? Alexander's voice turned sharp. Watching them touch you, look at you, make you smile when I never could? That's worse than anything I've ever felt. Then you should have tried harder, I said. I know. You should have fought for me. I know. You should have loved me. The words ripped out of me, jagged, desperate. I do, Alexander said. God help me, Elliot. I do. I stepped back from the door, turned to Theo. His face was unreadable. What do? I whispered. That's not my choice to make. He studied me. But I'll tell you this. If you go back to him now, nothing will change. He'll pull you close for a week, maybe 2. And then the fear will come back, and he'll push you away again. You don't know that. I know men like Alexander. Theo moved closer. Men who love through control, through possession. It's not real love, Elliot. It's ownership. That's not fair, isn't it? His eyes were intense now. He didn't want you until we did. He didn't see you until we made him look. That's not love. That's ego. My hands clenched. And what are you offering? You and Caleb and Dmitri? Is this real, or are you just trying to win some game? Theo flinched. Good. I wanted him to hurt too. Wanted someone to understand how confused I was. I'm offering you a choice, he said carefully. A real one. Not a transaction, not a contract, just possibility. Possibility of what? Of being seen, wanted, chosen. He reached for my face, fingers grazing my jaw. Every single day. Not just when you're about to walk away. I couldn't breathe. His touch was so different from Alexander's. Gentle where Alexander was desperate. Patient where Alexander was possessive. I don't know you, I whispered. Then let me change that. His thumb brushed my cheek. Stay. Not just tonight. Stay with us. Get to know us. Let us get to know you. And if you still want to go back to him after that, I'll drive you there myself. Theo, but if you go back now, he continued softly, you'll never know what you could have had. You'll spend the rest of your life wondering. Behind us, Alexander was still there. I could feel him, waiting, hoping, breaking. Elliot, Alexander called through the door. Please, just talk to me. 5 minutes. That's all I'm asking. Theo's hand dropped. It's your choice. I looked at the door, at the man I married, the man who finally wanted me, but only because he was losing me. Then I looked at Theo, at the softness in his eyes, at the promise of something different, something that didn't hurt. I need time, I said finally. How much time? Alexander asked desperately. I don't know. Elliot, I don't know. The words came out too loud, too raw. I don't know what I want. I don't know who I am anymore. I don't know anything except that I can't go back to how things were. Silence. Heavy. Suffocating. Okay, Alexander said finally. Okay, take your time. But Elliot, his voice dropped. I'm not giving up. I'm not walking away. Not this time. Maybe you should. I can't. And he sounded wrecked, ruined. I can't lose you, even if you hate me, even if you choose them. I can't. I won't survive it. My heart twisted. Go home, Alexander, I said softly. Not without you. Then I guess you're not going home. I heard him stand, heard his hand press against the door, right where mine had been. I love you, he said. I should have said it 6 months ago. I should have said it every day. But I'm saying it now. I love you, Elliot Carter, and I will keep saying it until you believe me. Tears spilled down my cheeks. I don't know if I can, I whispered. Then I'll wait. His footsteps retreated, slowly, reluctantly, and then he was gone. I collapsed, literally. My legs gave out and I sank to the floor, sobbing into my hands. Theo was there instantly, pulling me up, holding me. I've got you, he murmured. Breathe, just breathe. I don't know what's real anymore, I choked out. I don't know if he means it or if he's just scared or if. It doesn't matter right now. Theo's voice was firm. Right now you need to rest. You need to stop carrying everyone else's feelings and just feel your own. I don't know how. Then I'll teach you. He lifted me, actually lifted me, and carried me to the guest room. Set me down on the bed. Pulled the covers over me like I was something fragile. Something worth protecting. Sleep, he said. I'll be right outside if you need me. Theo! He paused in the doorway. Thank you, I whispered. He smiled, small, sad. Don't thank me yet. The door closed softly, and I lay there in the dark, clutching a pillow that smelled like cedar and rain, like Alexander, like home, like everything I'd ever wanted and could never have. My phone, still off, sat on the nightstand. 13 missed calls, probably. Dozens of texts, all from a man who finally realized what he had. Too late, always too late. I closed my eyes, and for the first time in 6 months, I didn't dream of him at all. Instead, I dreamed of hands, warm hands, 3 sets of them, reaching for me in the dark. I woke with a gasp. The room was unfamiliar. Soft gray walls, morning light filtering through curtains I didn't recognize. Then it all came rushing back. The dinner, the fight. Alexander at the door. I love you. My chest tightened. I sat up, still drowning in Theo's sweatshirt, and checked my phone. Turned it on with shaking hands. It exploded. 47 missed calls, 89 text messages. Most from Alexander, but not all. Caleb. How are you holding up? Dmitri. If you need anything, and I mean anything, call me. Caleb. Theo's a good man. You're safe with him. Dmitri. But my place has better coffee. Just saying. Despite everything, I smiled. Then I scrolled to Alexander's messages, and my heart broke all over again. Alexander. I'm sorry, Alexander. I know I keep saying that. I know it's not enough. Alexander. I'm sitting in my car outside Theo's building. I can't leave. Alexander. I keep thinking about the first time I saw you. Alexander. You were at the gallery, looking at that painting of the ocean. You had paint on your hands. Blue. You didn't notice. Alexander. I knew then. I knew you'd ruin me. Alexander. I should have walked away. Should have let you live your life. But I couldn't. Alexander. I'm selfish. I've always been selfish. Alexander. But I'm trying, Elliot. I'm trying to be better. Alexander. Please come home, Alexander. Or don't. Maybe you shouldn't. Alexander. Maybe you deserve better than me. Alexander. But I can't stop hoping you'll choose me anyway. The last message was timestamped 4:47 a.m. 2 hours ago. My hands were shaking so hard I almost dropped the phone. A soft knock at the door made me jump. Elliot? Theo's voice. You awake? I cleared my throat. Yeah. The door opened. Theo stood there with coffee and something that looked like breakfast. Toast, eggs, fruit. He looked tired, like he hadn't slept either. Thought you might be hungry, he said. I wasn't, but I nodded anyway. He set the tray on the nightstand, then hesitated. He's still out there, Theo said quietly. Alexander, I saw him when I looked out the window. He's been there all night. My breath caught. Do you want me to tell him to leave? No. The word came out too fast. No, just leave him. Theo studied me. You read his messages. It wasn't a question. I nodded. And? And I don't know what to feel. I looked up at him. Is that okay? Is it okay to not know? It's okay. He sat on the edge of the bed, careful to keep distance between us. You don't have to have all the answers right now. Everyone wants me to choose. I know, and I don't know how. My voice cracked. I don't know if I should go back to the man who broke me or stay with the men who barely know me. Then don't choose yet. I looked at him. What? Stay here. Take time. Let yourself breathe. His dark eyes were steady, calm. Figure out what you want, not what Alexander wants, not what we want. You. I don't know who I am without him anymore. Then let's find out. We ate in silence. Well, Theo ate. I pushed eggs around my plate and tried not to think about Alexander sitting in his car, cold, alone, waiting. Can I ask you something? I said finally. Anything. Why are you doing this? I met his eyes. Really? You and Caleb and Dmitri? Why do you care about some random Omega Alexander married? Theo set his fork down, leaned back. You want the truth? Please. At first, he exhaled slowly. At first, it was about Alexander. We've known him for 15 years, watched him build walls so high no one could reach him. And then suddenly he's married and he won't tell us anything about you. Won't even say your name. My chest tightened. That made us curious, Theo continued. So when we finally met you, when we saw you standing there in his kitchen looking lost, we understood. Understood what? Why he was so terrified. Theo's gaze was intense now. Because you're the kind of person who could break through those walls. The kind of person worth destroying yourself for. I couldn't breathe. And the more we talked to you, the more we saw how he treated you, the more we realized something. What? That we wanted you too. The confession landed like a bomb. Not to hurt him, Theo added quickly. Not as revenge or some game, but because you're... He stopped, swallowed. You're extraordinary, Elliot, and you don't even know it. Tears burned my eyes. I'm not. You are. He shifted closer. You're soft in a world that punishes softness. You're kind when you have every reason to be cruel. You're still hoping even after everything tried to break you. Theo, and if Alexander can't see that, if he's too scared to love you the way you deserve, then we will. We, I whispered. He smiled. All three of us. If you'll let us. I stared at him. You're serious. Completely. You want what? All three of you? We want to give you what Alexander can't. Theo's voice was steady. Sure. Attention, affection, a relationship where you're not an afterthought or a secret or something to be ashamed of. That's insane. Maybe. He reached for my hand. But is it more insane than staying in a marriage where you're invisible? I pulled my hand back. I need to think. Take all the time you need. I stood. I need to talk to him. Theo's expression flickered. Alexander? Yes. Elliot, I can't move forward until I understand what happened. I looked at him. I need to hear it from him. All of it. Why he really married me. Why he pushed me away. Why he's suddenly fighting now. Theo was quiet for a long moment. Then he nodded. Okay. I'll drive you. He stood. But I'm not leaving you alone with him. Not yet. Not until I know you're safe. I'm safe with Alexander. Are you? Theo's eyes were dark. Because from where I'm standing, he's the one who hurt you most. The words hit too close. He never hurt me physically. There are worse ways to hurt someone. I knew that. God, I knew that. I still need to talk to him, I said quietly. Theo sighed. Then let's go. We took the elevator down, stepped out into the cold Seattle morning, and there he was, Alexander, leaning against his car, looking like he hadn't slept in days. His eyes found mine immediately, desperate, devastated. He pushed off the car. Elliot! Theo's hand found the small of my back, protective. Alexander's gaze snapped to the touch. His jaw clenched. "We need to talk," I said before he could say anything. "Yes." Alexander's voice was hoarse. "Please." "Alone," I added. Theo tensed beside me. "Elliot, I'll be okay." I looked up at him. "I promise." Theo didn't look convinced, but he stepped back. "I'll be right inside," he said. "You call me if you need me." I nodded. He left, and suddenly it was just me and Alexander. The man I married, the man I'd run from, the man who'd spent the entire night waiting for me. "I'm sorry," he said immediately. "For everything. For all of it. I—" "Stop apologizing." He froze. "I don't want apologies, Alexander." I stepped closer. "I want the truth. All of it. No more walls, no more fear. Just honesty." His throat worked. "What do you want to know?" "Everything." I met his eyes. "Starting with why you really married me." He looked at me for a long moment. Then, "Because I was already in love with you." My world tilted. And I knew if I didn't tie you to me somehow, I'd lose you before I ever had you. "So you bought me," I whispered. "Yes." His voice broke. "And I've hated myself for it every single day since." The words hung between us like shattered glass. I was already in love with you. I couldn't move, couldn't breathe, couldn't process what he just said. "You're lying," I whispered. "I'm not. You have to be." My voice was rising now. "You don't treat someone you love like that. You don't ignore them. You don't make them feel invisible. You don't—" "I know." He stepped closer, and I saw it then. The cracks in his armor, the exhaustion, the pain. "I know I did everything wrong, but I need you to understand why." "Then make me understand," I was shouting now. "Make me understand how you could love me and hurt me like that." His hands clenched at his sides. "Because I watched my father love my mother to death." The raw honesty in his voice stopped me cold. "Every day," he continued, voice shaking, "every single day I watched him suffocate her. Not with his hands, with his love, with his need, with his obsession." His eyes were wild now. He couldn't let her breathe without him, couldn't let her exist outside of him. And by the time she died, there was nothing left of who she used to be. My chest ached. "I swore I'd never do that," Alexander said. "I swore I'd never love someone so much that I destroyed them. So when I met you, when I realized what you were to me, I panicked. So you pushed me away." "I tried to." He laughed bitterly. "I tried so hard, Elliot. But every time I came home and you were there, every time I saw you in my clothes, in my space, existing in my world, I wanted you more." "Then why didn't you—" "Because I'm terrified." The words exploded out of him. "I'm terrified that if I let myself have you, really have you, I'll turn into him. I'll consume you. I'll love you so much that I'll ruin you." Tears streamed down my face. "So instead you just broke me slowly." He flinched like I'd struck him. "Yes," he whispered. "And that's worse, isn't it?" I wiped my eyes with shaking hands. "When did you fall in love with me?" He looked at me like the answer hurt. "The gallery," he said softly. "6 months before we got married. You were standing in front of that ocean painting. You had paint under your nails. Blue and white. You were crying." My breath caught. I remembered that day, the day I found out about my brother's diagnosis. "I asked if you were okay," Alexander continued, "and you smiled at me, this broken, beautiful smile, and said you were just having a moment with the waves." I remembered him. Tall, handsome, intense, a stranger who'd looked at me like I mattered. "You told me you painted," he said, "that you understood why the artist made the water look angry, because sometimes the ocean isn't peaceful. Sometimes it's grief. I can't believe you remember that." "I remember everything." His voice cracked. "I remember the way you tucked your hair behind your ear when you were nervous. The way you bit your lip when you were thinking. The way your whole face changed when you talked about art. Alexander, I went home that night and I couldn't stop thinking about you." He was moving closer now. "So I went back to the gallery the next day, and the next, for 2 weeks straight, hoping you'd come back. I didn't." "No, you didn't." His jaw tightened. "So I found you. I looked up the artist, found out you'd studied under them, tracked down your information through entirely inappropriate channels. You stalked me. Yes. No hesitation, no shame. And when I learned about your brother, about the debt, I saw my chance. My stomach twisted. You used his illness. I did. His eyes were burning now. I used it to tie you to me, to make sure you couldn't leave. And I knew it was wrong, but I was desperate. You could have just asked me out like a normal person. You wouldn't have looked at me twice. His voice was raw now. I'm not the kind of man people fall in love with, Elliot. I'm cold. I'm controlling. I'm exactly like my father. You're not. I am. He grabbed my arms, not hard but firm. Don't you see? The moment I married you, I started isolating you, keeping you in that penthouse, away from people, away from life. I told myself it was to protect you, but really, it was to keep me. Yes, the confession broke him. And the worst part? I'd do it again. Even knowing how much it hurt you, even knowing I'm poison, I'd still marry you. I'd still chain you to me. I stared at him, at the man I married, at the truth finally bleeding out of him. That's why you have to choose them, he whispered. Theo, Caleb, Dmitri, they can give you freedom. They can love you without destroying you. And you? I'll love you until it kills us both. I pulled away from his grip, stepped back. My mind was spinning. So what? My voice was shaking. What was your plan? Marry me and just suffer in silence? Keep me at arm's length forever? I didn't have a plan. He looked wrecked. I just knew I couldn't lose you, even if having you meant not really having you at all. That's not love, Alexander. I know, his hands dropped, but it's all I know how to give. Then learn, I was shouting again. Learn how to love me without suffocating me. Learn how to want me without owning me. I don't know if I can. Then we're done. The words fell like an axe. Alexander went pale. Elliot, I can't do this anymore. Tears blurred my vision. I can't be with someone who's so terrified of loving me that he'd rather hurt me instead. Please. No. I was backing away now. You had 6 months. 6 months to figure this out. To talk to me. To try. And you didn't. I was scared. So was I. My voice broke. I was terrified every single day. Terrified that I'd made a mistake. That I'd sold myself for nothing. That I'd spend the rest of my life with someone who couldn't even look at me. I looked at you. His voice was desperate now. Every day, every time you weren't watching. I looked at you like you were the only thing in the world that mattered. But I was watching. The confession ripped out of me. I was always watching, waiting, hoping you'd see me. I did see you. Then why didn't you do something? Silence, heavy, suffocating. Because I'm a coward, he finally whispered. Yes. The word tasted like ash. You are. His phone rang. He ignored it. It rang again. Answer it, I said quietly. He pulled it out with shaking hands, looked at the screen. His face went white. What? I asked. He turned the phone toward me. It was a text from Caleb with a photo attached of me and Theo. This morning, Theo's hand on my back. The caption read, "Better take care of what's yours, Alex, before we do." Alexander's expression went dark, dangerous. They're playing games, he said, voice low. Maybe. I met his eyes. Or maybe they're just showing me what it looks like when someone actually wants me. His jaw clenched. They don't want you. They want to win. And you. I want you to breathe. The words came out strangled. Even if it's without me. I stared at him, at the broken man in front of me, at the truth finally laid bare. I need time, I said finally. How much time? I don't know. His hands clenched. They'll use that time to take you from me. Maybe they will. I stepped back. Or maybe I'll realize I never belonged to you in the first place. The words hit him like bullets. Elliot, go home, Alexander. Not without an answer. You don't get one yet? Then I'll wait. His eyes were burning. I'll wait as long as it takes. Even if I choose them. His face crumpled. Even then, he whispered. Because at least you'll be happy. I turned away, started walking back to Theo's building. Elliot, I stopped, didn't turn around. I love you, Alexander said, and I know you don't believe me. I know I don't deserve for you to believe me, but I need you to know everything I did, every wall I built, every time I pushed you away, it was because I loved you too much to trust myself with you. My chest ached. That's not enough, I said quietly. I know. Love isn't supposed to hurt this much. I know. Then let me go. Silence, then. I can't. I finally turned, looked at him one last time, at the man who loved me and ruined me in the same breath. Then I guess we're both going to break, I whispered, and I walked away. Behind me, I heard him fall apart, heard the sound of his breath catching, heard the beginning of a sob he tried to swallow. But I didn't turn back. Couldn't. Because if I did, I'd run to him, and we'd both drown. I made it 3 steps before my knees gave out. Just collapsed, right there on the sidewalk. The sound that came out of me wasn't human. It was grief, raw and ugly and 6 months overdue. Elliot! Theo was there instantly, had been watching from the doorway. He dropped beside me, hands on my shoulders, eyes wide with concern. I can't, I choked on the words. I can't breathe. Yes, you can. His voice was steady, grounding. Look at me, right at me. Breathe with me. I tried, failed, tried again. Behind us, I heard Alexander move, heard gravel crunch under his shoes. Don't, Theo said sharply, not looking away from me. Don't come closer. You've done enough. He's having a panic attack because of you. The words were knives, true ones. Elliot, please. Alexander's voice cracked. Let me help. You want to help? Theo's voice went cold. Leave. I'm not leaving him. You've been leaving him for 6 months. Theo finally looked up, and his expression was furious. This breakdown, this is what you did. So if you actually love him the way you claim, you'll walk away and let him heal. Silence. I couldn't see Alexander's face, couldn't see anything through the tears, but I heard his footsteps, slow, reluctant, retreating, and then the sound of a car door, an engine, driving away. Theo carried me inside, actually carried me, like I weighed nothing, like I was something precious instead of something broken. He set me on the couch, wrapped a blanket around my shoulders, knelt in front of me. Breathe, he said again. In for 4, hold for 4, out for 4. I followed his rhythm, slowly, painfully, until the world stopped spinning. I'm sorry, I whispered. Don't. His hands found mine. Don't apologize for feeling. I'm a mess. You're human. His thumbs brushed over my knuckles. And you just had your heart ripped out. You're allowed to break. I don't want to break anymore. Then let us help put you back together. The word us made me flinch. Theo. My phone buzzed. We both looked at it. Caleb. Dmitri and I are coming over. Don't argue. I almost laughed. Almost. They're worried about you, Theo said softly. They barely know me. They know enough. Before I could respond, there was a knock at the door. Theo stood. That was fast. He opened it. Caleb and Dmitri stood there, both looking concerned. Caleb's eyes found mine immediately. Jesus, Elliot. Dmitri pushed past Theo, crossed the room in 3 strides, and dropped onto the couch beside me. Then, without asking, he pulled me against his chest. I should have pushed him away, should have maintained distance. But I was so tired of being strong. So I let him hold me, let his warmth seep into my bones. Let myself pretend, just for a moment, that I wasn't alone. We saw Alexander leave, Caleb said, sitting on my other side. He looked destroyed. Good, Dmitri muttered. Dmitri, Theo warned. What? He deserves it. Dmitri's arms tightened around me. He had everything, and he threw it away. It's not that simple, isn't it? Dmitri looked down at me. Tell me, beautiful, did he give you a reason? A real one? I nodded against his chest. And he said, my voice cracked, he said he loved me too much, that he was afraid he'd destroy me like his father destroyed his mother. Silence. Heavy. So instead, he just destroyed you differently, Caleb said quietly. That's what I told him. And what did he say? That he knows. Tears spilled again. That he's a coward. That he can't change. Can't or won't? Dmitri asked. Does it matter? Yes. Caleb shifted closer. Because can't means he's broken. Won't means he's selfish. I think he's both. Theo moved to the chair across from us. What do you want, Elliot? Not what Alexander wants. Not what we want. What do you want? I closed my eyes. I want to stop hurting. Then let us take the pain away, Dmitri murmured against my hair. My breath hitched. How? By showing you what love is supposed to feel like. Caleb's hand found my face, turning me gently to look at him. Real love. The kind that doesn't break you. You can't promise that. No, he agreed. But we can promise to try, to see you, to choose you, every single day. All three of you? My voice was barely a whisper. All three of us, Theo confirmed. If that's what you want. I don't even know what I want anymore. Then let us help you figure it out, Dmitri said. No pressure, no contracts, just time and attention and everything Alexander should have given you from the start. I pulled back to look at him, at his blue eyes, sharp but gentle, at the way he was looking at me like I was something worth fighting for. Why? I asked. Why do you all care so much? Because you're magnetic, Caleb said. Because the moment we met you, we understood why Alexander was so desperate to keep you hidden. Because you deserve better than scraps, Theo added. Because you're ours now, Dmitri finished. Whether Alexander likes it or not. My phone rang, not a text this time. A call, from a number I didn't recognize. Don't answer it, Dmitri said, but something in my gut twisted. I pulled away, answered. Hello? Elliot Carter? A woman's voice, professional, cold. Yes? This is Rebecca Chen from Ashford Enterprises. I'm calling on behalf of Alexander Ashford. My heart stopped. What? Mr. Ashford has instructed me to inform you that he's initiated annulment proceedings for your marriage. The papers will be delivered to your current location within the hour. The world tilted. What? He's also arranged for a settlement payment, separate from your original agreement, to be deposited into your account. He wanted me to tell you, she paused. He wanted me to tell you that you're free. The phone slipped from my hand. Caleb caught it. What did she say? Theo demanded. I couldn't speak, couldn't breathe, couldn't process. He's annulling the marriage, I finally whispered. Silence. Then, he's what? Dmitri's voice was dangerous. He said, my voice broke. He said I'm free. Theo stood abruptly. That bastard. No, I shook my head. No, this is good. This is what I wanted. I wanted out. I wanted. You wanted him to fight for you, Caleb said quietly. The truth hit like a fist. And instead he's letting you go, Theo finished, because he loves me. The words tasted like poison. He's letting me go because he loves me. Or because he's a coward, Dmitri said. Both. I stood on shaking legs. It's both. My phone buzzed. A text. From Alexander. Alexander, I'm sorry, this is the only way I know how to love you. By letting you be happy without me. Alexander, the house is yours. The money is yours. Everything is yours. Alexander, except me. Alexander, I was never yours to keep. I read it once, twice, 3 times. And then I threw the phone across the room. It shattered against the wall. Elliot, Theo started. No. My voice was shaking. No, he doesn't get to do this. He doesn't get to make this decision for me. What are you going to do? Caleb asked. I looked at all 3 of them, at the men who'd fought for me, at the life I could have if I just let Alexander go. Then I looked at the broken phone, at the message still burned into my mind. I was never yours to keep. He's wrong, I said quietly. About what? Dmitri asked. About everything. I grabbed my jacket. He thinks he's protecting me by walking away, but all he's doing is running, again. Where are you going? Theo stood, I met his eyes. To get my husband back. The words shocked even me, but they were true. Elliot, Caleb grabbed my arm. Are you sure? No, I pulled away. But I'm done letting him make choices for both of us. If we're going to end, we're going to end because we both chose it, not because he's too scared to try. And if he won't fight, Dmitri challenged. I smiled, sad and broken and determined. Then I'll fight enough for both of us. I didn't ask them to drive me. I ran, out of Theo's building, into the rain that had started falling, cold and sharp against my skin. My lungs burned, my legs screamed, but I didn't stop, couldn't stop. Because if I stopped, if I gave myself even a second to think, I'd lose my nerve. I'd let him walk away. Again. The penthouse was 20 minutes on foot. I made it in 12. I burst through the doors, didn't bother with the elevator. Took the stairs, 23 floors. By the time I reached our floor, I could barely breathe, but I didn't care. I pounded on the door. Alexander! My voice was raw. Alexander, open the door. Silence. I pounded harder. I know you're in there. Open the door or I swear. The door swung open. Alexander stood there, shirt untucked, hair a mess, eyes red-rimmed. He looked at me like I was a ghost. Elliot! I shoved past him, into the penthouse that had been my prison for 6 months. You don't get to do that, I said, spinning to face him. You don't get to decide we're over without even talking to me. I was protecting you. From what? I was shouting now. From yourself? From love? From the possibility that maybe we could actually work. His jaw clenched. You don't understand? Then make me understand. I stepped closer. Stop running. Stop hiding. Stop making decisions for me and just tell me the truth. I did tell you the truth. No. I shook my head. You told me you're scared. You told me you're broken. But you didn't tell me what you want. What I want doesn't matter. It's the only thing that matters, my voice cracked. Because I can't do this anymore, Alexander. I can't keep guessing, keep hoping, keep waiting for you to decide if I'm worth the risk. You are, then prove it. Tears streamed down my face. Fight for me, choose me, stop letting fear make your decisions. He was trembling now, actually trembling. What if I hurt you? He whispered. You already did. The words landed like bullets. He flinched. But you know what hurts worse? I continued. Knowing that you love me and still choosing to leave. That's not protection, Alexander. That's abandonment. I'm trying to give you a chance at happiness. I don't want a chance. I grabbed his shirt, fisted the fabric in my hands. I want you. Broken. Scared. Imperfect. I want all of it. His breath caught. Even after everything? Especially after everything. I looked up at him, at the man who'd ruined me and saved me in the same breath. Because now I know the truth. Now I know you love me, and that's worth fighting for. Elliot, so here's what's going to happen. My voice steadied. You're going to stop those annulment papers. You're going to look me in the eye and tell me you want this marriage. Or, I swallowed hard, or you're going to tell me you don't love me enough to try, and I'll walk away. For real this time. Silence. Heavy. Suffocating. Alexander stared at me like I'd just torn his world apart. You think it's that simple? He finally said. It is that simple. It's not. He pulled away, started pacing. You don't know what you're asking. You don't know what I'm capable of. Then show me. I can't. You won't. The correction was sharp. There's a difference. He stopped, turned, and the look in his eyes was wild, desperate, hungry. You want to know what I'm capable of? His voice dropped. Dangerous. You want to see what happens when I stop holding back? My heart hammered. Yes. I'll consume you. He moved closer. Predatory. I'll need to know where you are every second, who you're with, what you're doing. I want to mark you, claim you, make sure everyone knows you're mine. Okay. He blinked. Okay? I can handle possessive. I lifted my chin. What I can't handle is absent. Elliot, I don't need perfect, Alexander. I stepped into his space. I need present. I need you to try. Even if you fail, even if it's messy, I just need you to stop running. His hands clenched. What about them? Them? Caleb, Theo, Dmitri. His voice was tight. They can give you everything I can't. Maybe. I met his eyes. But they're not you. That's not good enough. It is for me. I grabbed his face, forced him to look at me. You're enough for me. Broken and scared and imperfect. You're enough. Something cracked in his expression. I don't deserve you. Probably not. I smiled through tears. But you have me anyway. Elliot, say it. My voice was barely a whisper. Say you want me. Say you'll try. His hands found my waist, gripping like I might disappear. I want you, he breathed. God help me, I want you more than I've ever wanted anything. Then keep me. I'll ruin you. Then ruin me. I pulled him closer. But don't leave me. He kissed me, finally. After 6 months of distance and longing and denial, he kissed me. And it wasn't gentle. It was desperate, consuming. Everything he'd been holding back crashing into me all at once. His hands tangled in my hair, his body pressed against mine. His scent, cedar and rain and something darker, surrounded me, drowned me. I kissed him back just as desperately, poured 6 months of hurt and hope and need into it. When we finally broke apart, we were both shaking. I love you, he said against my lips. I love you so much it terrifies me. Then be terrified with me. He laughed, broken and beautiful. Okay, okay, okay. He rested his forehead against mine. No more running, no more walls, just us, figuring it out together. Relief flooded through me. Together, I repeated. He kissed me again, softer this time, slower, like he was memorizing the taste of me, like he'd never get enough. My phone, his phone, one of our phones, buzzed. We ignored it. It buzzed again, again, again. Alexander pulled back. What? He grabbed his phone, looked at the screen, and went pale. What? I asked. He turned it toward me. A text from Dmitri with a photo attached of legal documents. Dmitri, interesting reading. Did you know your marriage was never actually legal? Wrong signature on the Omega consent form, which means Elliot was never really yours at all. My blood went cold. What does that mean? I whispered. Alexander's jaw was clenched so tight I thought it might crack. It means, his voice was shaking, it means we were never actually married. The world tilted. What? The paperwork. He was scrolling now, frantic. There must have been an error, a mistaken filing, which means what? He looked at me, and I saw it. The fear, the devastation. It means you're not bound to me, he said quietly. Legally. You never were. But, another text. From Caleb this time. Caleb. We've already filed the corrected paperwork, with all 3 of our names on it. Elliot's choice, of course. But the option is there. My phone buzzed. From Theo. Theo. The annulment Alexander filed? It's void, because there was no legal marriage to annul. You're free, Elliot. Completely free. To choose whoever you want, or no one at all. I stared at the messages, at the impossible choice suddenly laid at my feet. Alexander's hands fell away from me. They planned this, he said hollowly. They knew. They've known this whole time. Alexander, and now you have to choose. He stepped back. Really choose. Not because of paperwork or contracts or obligations. Just, his voice broke. Just because you want to. I looked at him, at the man I'd fought so hard to reach, at the love I'd finally claimed. And then, a knock at the door. We both froze. Alexander moved toward it, opened it. All 3 of them stood there. Caleb, Theo, Dmitri, looking at me, waiting. Hello, Elliot, Caleb said softly. We need to talk. And I realized this wasn't over, not even close. The door stood open, Three alphas waiting on one side, one broken husband on the other, and Elliot trapped in the middle, holding the power to destroy them all.